Welcome to today's program, In Conversation. Our guest today is Janet Evans, and Janet is the organ and tissue resource nurse with the Cape Breton District Health Authority. Welcome, Janet.
Thank you.
I guess to get right into it, talk to us about organ and tissue donation, and maybe what is that about?
Okay, I think I will start by explaining what an organ donor is and what a tissue donor is. Most people have heard the phrase but are very unfamiliar with what it is. An organ donor is a person that has suffered a catastrophic event.
Okay.
For example, it may be someone that has been in an accident and has suffered an irreversible brain injury. Mm-hmm. It could be someone that has had a cerebral aneurysm and in result has had a brain hemorrhage. This type of patient is very rare. Less than 3% of all patients that present to the hospital could be an organ donor.
Okay.
And what this person would be able to do would be to donate the major organs in their body, meaning heart, liver, 2
mm-hmm.
lungs, 2 kidneys, pancreas, and small bowel. So that person could actually donate to up to 8 people.
Okay.
It is rare.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that we may talk a little bit about, but we don't talk very much about it and finding out more information about it.
Mm-hmm.
A tissue donor is someone that donated after cardiac death, meaning their heart is stopped. Mm-hmm. They are clinically and for all reasons have passed on. Mm-hmm. A tissue donor is someone, when they donate, can affect up to and even more than 50 people. Mm-hmm. Tissue donation takes place after death. A tissue donor is someone that has donated skin, mm-hmm. and skin is used for burn patients, mm-hmm. and without the donation of skin, burn patients can end up passing away, so it is critical to their health that they receive that donation. It is also corneas, and that is something that's
mm-hmm.
people are pretty familiar
yes.
with. Cornea donation, one person that donates their corneas gives 2 people sight. So that's very powerful, someone to pass on the gift of sight to
yes.
another individual. As well as we donate bone. Mm-hmm. And bone is used in our district up to 3 times a week, in our OR. We use bone for cancer patients that have had a bone removed. We replace it with a donated bone. Mm-hmm. We use it for hip surgery, mm-hmm. to rebuild hips. Tendons and ligaments are used for orthopedic injuries, and these and people that receive the donation of tendons and ligaments, these are people that may not be able to work because mm-hmm. of their injury, and gives them the ability to go back to work. Mm-hmm. It is used for people that for pain, that are in chronic pain mm-hmm. from whatever injury they have, and it helps alleviate that pain and give them some quality of life. So tissue donor may not be as life-saving as you would think for organ donation, mm-hmm. but it definitely impacts someone greatly to be able to receive that.
It would be very important now, because I think we're kind of there, the breakdown of donor 1 and donor 2 on your card.
To register to be an organ donor is mm-hmm. through our MSI card, our Nova
yes.
Scotia Health Card, and everybody
mm-hmm.
in Nova Scotia has to have
mm-hmm.
a Nova Scotia Health Card. So it is a great opportunity to pull your card out and take a look at it. If you have consented and signed to be an organ or tissue donor, it'll appear underneath your numbers mm-hmm. on your Nova Scotia Health Card. It'll say donor 1 or donor 2. Donor 1 means that you have consented to all organs and tissues. Mm-hmm. Donor 2 means that there's something in particular that you didn't check off. There may mm-hmm. be some stipulation that you just weren't very comfortable with or mm-hmm. didn't really want to donate that part. Mm-hmm. So that means that there's a stipulation. When you come into hospital, we have access to that information. Mm-hmm. We phone a data bank in Halifax and we ask, is your health card signed? Mm-hmm. When you sign your health card, it's not just enough to sign, mm-hmm. because in the event of you being a tissue donor and or an organ donor, you're not able to speak for yourself. Your loved ones will speak for
mm-hmm.
you and will
mm-hmm.
consent for you, as in any other medical procedure. If you cannot consent for yourself, it's your next of kin. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important not just to sign your card and think, oh, I signed, so that's enough. Mm-hmm. It's important to have that conversation, because you and your family need to know what your wishes are when you can't say what they are for mm-hmm. yourself. And it makes it so much easier from a healthcare perspective. When we're approaching families, and it's always around a death.
It's a tragedy at the time.
It's mm-hmm. a tragedy. Even if it's an expected death, mm-hmm. it's still very emotional. Mm-hmm. It is an extremely difficult day for the family. Mm-hmm. And you're going in to ask them another medical question. You're offering the only option that you can in this situation, whether mm-hmm. it be organ and or tissue. When families know and they've had that conversation, they are very quick to say, you know what, this is what he wanted, we absolutely will. When they're not sure, it's a terrible dilemma for them because they're caught. They want to do the right thing. They have no one to ask but themselves, and it makes it that much more difficult and stressful.
So by a family or a person, I should say, choosing to sign but not really expressing that to their loved ones, then in the end, it may not happen.
It may not happen. If the next of kin who was making decisions for you are not comfortable with it, or they're just unsure. And even if it is signed, you have to make sure that they know why and why it's so important to you. So it's not enough just to sign. You have to do both.
Now, I looked a little bit on the internet as far as just a little bit of research, and the two main messages that I see, and I wanted to get in a little bit into promotion in a moment, but the two main things is, number one, sign, number two, tell your family. So they're equally as important.
They go hand in hand.
Yeah, they would. Which led me to, you know, everybody has heard of organ donation, maybe not in detail, or it may be one of those things, yeah, I know a little bit, and you know, it's not affecting me right now, so I can go ahead. What means of promotion is there for this type? Like, you know, obviously you can do, it's not something that you necessarily do television, radio, but how do you get the word out?
The word out is one conversation at a time. To approach one family and to speak with families and express how important it is, and even to approach one person. That person will go, and I'll challenge them. Go home and talk with your family. My challenge at Christmas was over Christmas, over the festivities when families are together, what a perfect time to bring this topic. And it's not a death-centered conversation.
No.
It's hope, and it's a gift-centered conversation. And it can bring up some wonderful conversations and a lot of misconceptions. This is where people say, oh, no, I can't donate because I'm a diabetic. They won't want anything. And that is just not true. Each situation and each person is looked at uniquely. I take every opportunity to put a little donation twist to it, whether it be Christmas, the gift. It's a gift. Christmas is a giving time. Valentine's Day, live, love, laugh, and donate. So just by having that one conversation at a time, hopefully will make a difference. If you affect one person, that person, if they do donate, can affect up to 58 people. Okay. And that 58 people have friends and family. So it's a ripple effect.
It'll continue
It will continue.
We'll take a break and we'll talk a little bit more in a few moments. Thank you, Janet. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us again. We are with Janet Evans, and just before break, Janet, you spoke to us about some misconceptions that people would have, and maybe someone out there is thinking, I'm too old to donate, or what kind of criteria would you be looking at, or what are some common misconceptions?
Firstly, there is no age limit for organ donation. Each person is looked at individually. Any other health care problems they may have suffered may not be an exclusion. As I want to state again, each person is looked at individually, so you can never count yourself out. For tissue donation, there is an age limit, and it's up to the age of 80, which is new for us because it used to be 70. So now we've increased that age limit, realizing that there's great potential between the ages of 70 and 80 for someone to be able to give the gift of life.
Okay.
One of the big misconceptions that we hear quite often is, I've signed on my driver's license. And many people still believe it's there, and in fact, it is not. It is on your Nova Scotia health card, and the reason being is that when you come into hospital, we have access to that information, which is very valuable information for us when we go to speak with families, and as well for the families themselves, because if they're not sure, and we bring with us that information that your loved one has, in fact, let their wishes be known through the Nova Scotia health card. That is invaluable information. One of the other biggest misconceptions is that, oh, I don't have to donate because everybody does it. Well, in fact, that's extremely untrue. In Nova Scotia, we have, in fact, 120 people waiting for life-saving organ transplants.
And that's just in Nova Scotia.
That is just in Nova Scotia. Across Canada, there's 4,000, so there's thousands. And our demand is increasing every day, and the actual donors are decreasing. And in last year, just in our area in Cape Breton, we only had 3 organ donors and 5 tissue donors. So we didn't even meet 10.
And from the sounds of what you had said earlier, as far as tissue donation, certainly a lot more of us could be doing that.
Absolutely, a lot more of us could be doing that. And if you think, well, why aren't we? And I think a lot of it is just lack of knowledge, lack of awareness. And really, we never really had anybody within the Cape Breton District Health Authority with their position being promotion and awareness. Creating standards, standards that it is our role as healthcare practitioners to offer the option. And there is some apprehension on our part.
Yes.
We have a highly emotional family. We just want to comfort them. We don't want to go in and ask them anything else. And we always say ask. Well, we're not asking. We're offering. And is there a right to make that decision? And is there a right to be offered? Because it's a very unfortunate situation if you meet a family afterwards who thought they could donate but weren't offered and just never thought of it. In those situations, you can't possibly think of everything.
No.
And that's where our job it is. It is our job to think, you know what, we may be a little hesitant for our own fear of upsetting the family, but you're not going to upset them anymore. This is their worst day that they've had.
Yes.
And out of that worst day, we're offering the only thing that we can, the only good thing.
Janet, when you're talking about the families, what is sort of the step-by-step process that would happen for a family in the event, a tragedy has happened and I'm there at the hospital, I know this is what we want to do. What type of steps or what is the process for them from that point on?
The process, first off, is to identify the patient. We have to be able to look at certain criteria and say, you know what, that this person has suffered an irreversible, I'll speak specifically first with organ donation, an irreversible brain injury. There's nothing else we can offer. There's no absolute hope of having any quality of life.
Okay.
When we recognize them, that point, the family have to be made aware of how catastrophic this situation is.
Yes.
You give them time to understand, because a lot of times families will hear and they need time to think about it because it's a crisis, and everybody handles a crisis in a different way. For us, we will gather our resources. We may take when we go in to speak with family, we may take someone that's very comforting, such as pastoral care, if they wish pastoral care to come with us, or social worker, just someone to help us to be able to say the right things and be able to give them what they need, supportive-wise. Once we identify the patient, then we go in and offer them. And when we make the offer for donation, we'll have, in fact, the information regarding the MSI with us. And 2 situations occur. Either they know, they've had the talk before, and you know what, they'll understand, yes, we want to do this. Or they don't know, and we help them with that. We give them all the information that they need, and they make their own decision, and every decision is respected. What works for them and what they're comfortable with. We just want them to leave the hospital knowing that it was offered and they were informed, and whatever they decide to do is their right. Once we realize and the consent is given that they will donate, we work with a critical care program in Halifax, and the critical care program is out of Capital Health in Halifax, and that is where the actual retrieval and transplant takes place. So here in Cape Breton Health Authority, the donor is transferred to Halifax, the patient, and the donation takes place up there, with the understanding that it is a very clinical process. Yes. We have to make sure without a shadow of a doubt that the person is in fact no longer has blood flow to the brain, meaning they're brain dead. And once the testing is done and that's declared, then we go on and we transplant to the recipients. Wow. And the organs are allocated out of Halifax. So with saying that, up to 8 people can actually receive that gift, and without an organ transplant, they will not make it either. No. So these families know that, wow,
it's life-saving.
What we did today, we in fact helped up to 8 people. Following, once the retrieval and the donation takes place, families will then receive, besides a phone call, they will receive follow-up correspondence from the critical care program, telling them exactly what was transplanted and what has happened. And then they have the option again, when they feel they can, to write letters to the recipients. And it's not identifying letters, but they're very powerful. They get to give them a little bit of information about what their loved one was like and why they chose to do this. And in turn, the recipients are given the option to write a letter back to the family, to tell them what it made to them. And that is, when you speak with families, and that's the great part of my job, that I get to speak with families and just talk with them about what this has meant to them. This is why we do this. Yes. This is why we have to do this, because this has helped so much with their grieving.
Now, Janet, we're going to be speaking with Pat O'Shea in regards to a donor's family coming up next, but people do have questions. They are going to be probably talking about this a little bit more. Where is the best place for them to receive information, or what's the best contact method?
There's several contacts, but one of the easiest contacts, if you just want to look up just some information, is on the computer through the internet. It's Legacy of Life. NovaScotiaHealth.ca, just Legacy of Life. And if you put that in your computer, that will download our provincial website. Good. And there's questions and answers, as well as their contacts. My contact is there, the Halifax contacts is there. So it's a great, and also there's some videos of recipients and donors, which is very nice to watch as well.
So something to visit. Okay, Janet, we're going to stop there and speak with Pat. Thank you very much for joining us. And we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back, and thank you again for joining us. With us is Pat O'Shea. And Pat, you're here today to talk about organ and tissue donation and what it's meant personally to you. You're wearing a green ribbon. What does that pin mean to you?
The green ribbon represents organ and tissue donation, and that's why I'm here to speak about it. My wife Norma passed away in 2007, and she was an organ and tissue donor. And for us, it was something that we were all quite aware of. My daughter Caitlin and myself and Norma, we've always talked about it. Back a few years ago, Carmen Young from the North Side, we saw her on television one night. She was in need of a set of lungs. And anyway, that's how we become aware of it. And Norma's nephew, Derek Lewis from the North Side, he passed away. And he was an organ donor, and he was a full donor. So we were always aware of it. So when Norma had a brain hemorrhage, it was no question that we would be donors. Not that we would, it's could we.
Could we, yes.
Yeah, so it's one of those things that I think if you're aware of the effects of what you can do, like when something like that happens to you, when you lose your wife or your husband or daughter or son or whatever, or even your parent, it's one of the, probably the most worst day of your life ever, for sure. Yes. And if you can bring something positive from that, this is what it would be, right? Is to be.
Well, Pat, you said earlier before the show that when you found out the statistic that only 3 people, I believe in your area, were actual donors. Is that right? Within a year?
Yeah. In Cape Breton, it was 3. In the province, I think it was 12 that year.
And you wanted to then make it maybe part of your.
Yeah. Well, when I found out that the number, like we were donors, and to us it was just a thing to do. When I found out the number was so small, it was like people got to know how much an effect they could have. I mean, my wife Norma, she saved 6 lives, and 38 other people received tissue, right? So she changed that many people's lives. Like, and not only those lives, but the lives of the husbands and the wives and the children and the parents of those people, right? Like Norma's lungs went to an 18-year-old girl. I mean, that was the same age as our daughter Caitlin at the time. So it's pretty powerful when you get those, when you see the results of something like that. So it's pretty amazing that, you know, one person can make such a difference in so many other people's lives. So for me, it wasn't that they were asking me for something, it was they were offering me an opportunity, you know, to leave my wife a legacy, you know, and it's a pretty powerful thing. And throughout the whole thing, it's been very helpful for us as you go through the grieving process to have that, you know, knowledge that, you know, she's still out there helping
some
people.
brightness and
you know, it's just a positive thing in something that's so negative. And you know, I think whenever you can find something positive from something bad, then it's a good thing, you know.
It is.
It's just a good thing.
You have a rare, not a rare perspective, but a different perspective than a lot of us would have, because you're on the donor side. And we often see, be it through television, a receiver and what it means to them. But take us a little bit through the process now. It was such a sudden occurrence in your life when your wife became sick. What happened at the hospital for you? You knew you wanted to donate. Kind of walk us through that a little bit.
Well, no, we were in bed. Norma took a brain hemorrhage, and it was very sudden, like you say. And we ended up going right to the hospital, and we went through 2 or 3 hospitals until we landed in Halifax. And when we got to Halifax, they told us that Norma had no chance of recovery. So she had to be declared brain dead in order to become an organ or tissue donor. And that process takes 2 doctors to verify that. So it's a process that's very definite and very firm that, you know, unless you meet these requirements, you can't be a donor. Which is a very good thing, because a lot of people, there's a misconception that people say, well, I wouldn't want to sign my card because they wouldn't try as hard to save me. And that's not true, right? So anyway, so we went through that process, and she was declared brain dead. And then they came in and asked us if we wanted to be an organ donor, and of course we were, because we had talked so much about it beforehand. And that's the important part, is sign your organ card, but to have the conversation with your family and friends.
Because you knew this is what you wanted.
Yes, for sure. I mean, it was an easy decision. That's the worst day of your life. And if you know, then that's a good thing. If you don't know, then it's a harder thing to have to make that decision. So if you're going to sign your organ card, I think it's your responsibility to have the conversation with people.
Yes, for
sure. So that they know what you want, right? You're not leaving it to them, as you've already decided, and you're letting them know what you decided.
Now, just because we're on that, is there, as far as the family, other than being asked or offered this very thing, is there a cost, or is there a delay, or what happens because of your choice to donate or to go along with your loved one's wishes? What happens there? Is there any cost?
There's absolutely no cost whatsoever. The healthcare looks after it. There's no cost whatsoever.
What about delay?
Delay? Well, I mean, Norma, we were in the hospital for the full day, and it took that long for Norma to be declared legally brain dead. So there was a little bit of delay for us, but whether that was not going to change.
No, that would be.
The delay was always going to be there. It was just, that's when they decided that, you know, she's brain dead. Now you have a decision to make. Do you want to donate or not? So really, I don't think there was a delay, if you could call it a delay. It was just, until she was declared, there was nothing they were going to do anyway. They were going to try, you know, just do what they were doing. So no, there was no delay, and there's no cost. It's, if anything, it's a benefit, because it helps you so much through the grieving process, and it gives you such a great feeling that, you know, I mean, for me, my Norma, she's still out there helping people today. So that's a pretty powerful feeling, yeah.
Now, you've received some letters, which I've had an opportunity to read, from recipients. What type of contact or follow-up is there after it? Is that standard, or is that just unique to your family?
No, it's a standard thing. I mean, not everybody does it. Some people write letters and some people don't. I received 2 letters. My daughter and I, we wrote letters to every organ recipient. We did receive 2 back, and they don't know who we are, and we don't know who they are. It's very anonymous. But you know, it just, for us, we just want to let them know what kind of person Norma was, and the people who send letters, they just want to tell us how thankful they are that they get to spend time with their loved ones or their grandkids, or they're gone back to work or whatever. So it's pretty powerful when you get a letter. I'll tell you, we've received the first letter from the lady who received Norma's heart. That was just before Christmas. And that was the first Christmas, and that was pretty powerful, I'll tell you. That got us through the holidays the first year,
Is that right?
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, really, yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Pat, we'll have to have you back again sometime because you're certainly going to continue promoting
Yes, for sure,
organ
yeah.
donation, and you have, like I said, that unique perspective to be able to share with people, and thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome, and thank you for watching, and find out about organ donation. Talk to your families. Sign your card, talk to your families, and we'll see you the next time.